The other thing, the other thing that I just wanted to add, and it was something that Jim Alsop talked about earlier in his presentation, and I had done a report with one of Jim's colleagues, Gino Izzi, on ABC7 News this morning about the NOAA weather radios and how key, how many of you have one of those in your house? I have so many friends I have talked to who don't even know what it is, and these things have been around for years and years. You know, we can do so much. We will break in whenever we have to with a tornado warning. But short of me coming to your house and knocking on your door and yanking you out of bed and taking you to the basement, you know, the weather radio has saved people's lives. And I have had numerous people call me now and email me, where can I get one of these radios? I didn't know about this. That one little device can help so many people, and I just think it astounds me. I think that so many people don't know about that.
I think most of us would concur that it's the best $30 or $40 you could possibly spend.
That's right.
It is the silent sentinel, as we alluded to, Jim mentioned. It literally can sit anywhere you decide to put it and never make a sound until it goes off in your particular area where you live. So if there's a tornado warning issued in Kankakee, but you live up in Lake County, it won't go off. But if there's one in Lake County, it will, and it'll alert you. In addition to that, apps. Today, you can get apps for your phone. You can be alerted, again, right there at their fingertips. So in this day and age, there's really no reason for you to be caught, so to speak, unaware.
Yeah, just to go on about this, you can buy elaborate weather radios that you can program for everything from tsunami warnings to a volcano going off to every county in the viewing audience. I have one that sits on my nightstand, and it goes off far too often for my husband. But I will say this, I program it for the entire area, but I think if I had one, I would program it for the county north, east, west, and south of mine, so I'd know if there's something coming to give myself a little extra time. The beauty of these is that they don't go off unless something's going on. You can also program them just for what you want. As Andy said, the apps on the phones, all of the television stations have them. The Weather Service has them. Online you can get them. There are special services. I have so many apps. I have one that follows me around. Wherever my phone is, if it's in the vicinity of severe weather, it goes off. Then my computer is notified. Then my phone gets called. Then I get another text message. I get a phone call on my cell phone. I'm inundated with these things. They have polygonal warnings too, and this is something the National Weather Service with NOAA has done, is it is not the entire county that's under a warning. If just the teensy corner of 4 counties that connect are under a warning, in the old regime, bam, the whole county, all of those counties would have gone off. Now it shows just the little area, and if it doesn't affect you, then you know instantly, which is really a really good thing. But I can tell you what, you can get portable weather alert radios like Tracy was talking about. They're just this big. We've got several of them. My husband has them all over the house and the cars. It's ridiculous. But they're inexpensive, and you can take them with you. And the good thing is they'll also give you a weather report. I'd prefer you get it from any one of us, so would our bosses, but Weather Service weather report goes out, and they have it for you 24/7. So if you're at a soccer game, if you're fishing, if you're hiking, if you're shopping, if you're sitting in the middle of the park and you're thinking, oh, it's so hot, what's the weather going, what's the temperature this hour? You can turn it on and it'll tell you.
I think it's also important that you have to plan what you're going to do and how you're going to respond to the information that you get from the Weather Service or from wherever you're getting your alert and your warning from. And that goes back to having a plan and knowing what the risks are that we face in this area, and then having a kit. And I'd like Mary just to quickly talk about some of the things to have in your kit.
Well, you know, I want to key on something my colleague here said. She mentioned the term resilient communities, and that's something we hear around FEMA a lot. Disasters are going to happen. What the whole concept of the resilient community means that after the disaster, the community will come back stronger than ever. And that's where the whole key of the preparedness kit. Now, the preparedness kit is one part of it, but what's really important is the mindset, is your attitude. We talk about first responders being there to assist us, but you know, there's not that many first responders when we talk about catastrophic incidents that could affect our entire area. So a lot of times at FEMA, we use the phrase, the first 72 is on you. And we want to make sure that you're prepared to be able to take care of yourself and your family for at least 72 hours after a major disaster. And a preparedness kit is something that you have to think about. You have to determine what is it that you would need based on the risk assessment of your area and the needs that your particular family has in an emergency. If you have children, obviously you're going to need diapers or the formula. You're going to need medical equipment. You're going to need bandages. You're going to need antibiotics as far as to take care of cuts. If you have pets, that's something you have to think about. Do you have some extra pet food? What if you had to go to a shelter? Would you be able to take your pet to that particular shelter? But you know, the whole key is relying on your family, relying on your neighbors. Because when we talk about the whole community, that's another thing we talk about at FEMA. We talk about the whole community approach, that we want everybody to be survivors in a disaster, which means that we have to look and see what we need to do to make our community strong. There's a lot of wonderful options. There's one called Map Your Community, which is very very important in the Northwest, which means that the communities get together and they see what are our strengths as a community get together and to rise together in case of a disaster, and what are the things that we have to look at. You know, for family plans, if there's an evacuation and you're at work and you have a loved one at home that might be elderly or disabled in some way, or if you have pets, is there somebody that can take care of those folks for you? So those are the things that when we say have a family emergency plan, go through all your threats, see what it is that will help you and your family survive. And I want to send you to a website called ready.gov, which talks about all of the things that you should have, whether it's a kit, whether it's a plan. There's templates for the family plan that you can fill out online that can help you and your family. You know, it's what should you really take? Should you take that extra pair of glasses? Should you have that kit ready? Should you have extra prescription medications? Those are the things that you're really going to need in case of a disaster. So that's why I'm here, to urge you to really take responsibility for yourself. Get the attitude that this is something that you need to do for yourself and your community.
Okay, we'll have time for just one more question, and then we have one brief presentation. Before this question, I just want to thank the panelists for taking time out of their days to come here, so please let's give them a round. And if there were additional questions, if you want to hang around till the end, then we can address them. But here.
I just want to thank everyone as well. And hey, Rick, long time no see. My first question is in regards to the alert system. I'm in a disaster response business and planning as well. I had the privilege to take a test drive on New York City's new alert system, and it's absolutely phenomenal. What is Chicago doing to push us to get to that level where if we're in a public forum, we're not watching a television, we're outside, where we're going to get an alert that's going to give us specific instructions on not to go north, go south, you know, whatever the case may be on that type of emergency. The other question that I have is, what is the public sector doing to work with the private sector in regards to the response and the recovery of these major disasters? I work with some other public sector areas up in Lake County, Kent, McKinsey. But I really don't see that same type of energy or activity happening here in the city. I'm a volunteer, I'm a CERT member, actually just graduated May 5th. So, you know, I'm a very hardcore Chicago person. I don't want to get my training up in Lake County. What can we do here in Chicago to better prepare our community?
Now, in terms of what you're saying, are you talking about Notify New York? Okay, well, we have Notify Chicago, which is the exact same system. We utilize it right now for getting out information. It's, you know, a text-based system, or it can send an email or voicemail to a phone. We utilize it mainly right now to let people know of, you know, whether it's special events, traffic alerts, weather conditions, things like that. We're looking at expanding it. The problem is we don't have a lot of people who have signed up for it. So we're making an effort to kind of reinvigorate it, and get it out there so that we can use it like more like Notify New York, or in Florida they have you have an app for evacuations that tells you exactly where to go, and that's kind of hopefully we're going to get there with it. Now, in terms of the private-public partnerships, through a couple different events that we got, or initiatives, the Regional Catastrophic Planning Team is one thing that we're working on a public or private sector integration plan of exactly how do we get private sector assets and utilize them during disaster, not only for response but in recovery, because recovery is where the private sector is going to play the biggest role of getting communities back up and running. Looking at the group like you're talking about, the Lake Cook Resiliency Group, I think that they have in Lake County with that Ken McKenzie heads up. We're looking, right now in the city, we work closely with the Building Owners and Managers Association, BOMA, and we do a lot of stuff like that, especially around the downtown evacuation plan. We just exercised that this past fall and evacuated the Blue Cross Blue Shield building as a test case. Also, the Chicago First Group, Greater North Michigan Avenue Merchants Association. These are kind of the core groups that we go to for public-private partnerships, but we're looking to expand. The other thing that OEMC is heavily involved in is the city's camera network, and that is another thing where we work very closely with the private sector to merge all those things so that when a 911 call comes in, if there's a camera nearby, it comes up on the 911 dispatcher's information so they can feed that info for what they see to police and fire when they're responding. So these are all initiatives that we're doing, but it is one thing that we are behind on. As a region, we did through the Regional Catastrophic Grant Program, we did a capabilities assessment, and there are a couple things that we found across our 16 county area that are lacking, and private sector partnerships is one of them. So it's one thing that we're working on. You see a better more work has been done in the outlying counties, and we need to do that better here. But I would like to thank you and congratulate you for completing your CERT training.
Did I hear you say that you were a member of CERT? I think that that's very appropriate, because CERT, if you don't know what that is, it's a Community Emergency Response Team. And it is part of the Citizen Corps program, and Chicago has a very robust CERT program under Office of Emergency Management. In fact, I manage the CERT program regionally for FEMA, and if you live in the city of Chicago, that is a wonderful way for you to get involved with your community.
Okay, once again, I want to thank everyone for participating in the panel. There were some great questions. If you want to stick around, we have one brief presentation on emergency preparedness, but again, thank you all.